Imagine you're deep in the wilderness, miles from the nearest paved road. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving the world in a shroud of twilight. You hear a sudden, sharp snap, a branch breaking far beyond the reach of your flashlight. Your instinct tells you it's a deer or perhaps a stray fox. But as you swing your light toward the sound, your heart stops. What if something is standing there that, according to every textbook ever written, simply isn't allowed to exist? In our modern age of high-definition cameras and global satellite surveillance, we like to believe that there are no more blind spots on the map. We think we've categorized every leaf, every insect, and every predator. But we are wrong. There are photographs in existence that capture a reality so disturbing and so fleeting that they vanish into the archives of the unexplained almost as soon as the shutter clicks. These are not just campfire stories or blurry blob squatches. We are talking about physical evidence, rare, singular frames that prove something is hiding right in our blind spots. From shadowy prehistoric giants displacing the frigid waters of deep mountain lakes to skeletal beings that should have vanished 66 million years ago, only to reappear in our suburban backyards. Today, we are meticulously opening the secret files on the 6 last known photographs of mysterious animals that have sent shockwaves through the scientific community and sparked terror worldwide. Buckle up and make sure your doors are locked. Because some of these discoveries are far darker and more visceral than you ever thought possible. We begin our journey in a place that has served as the ultimate epicenter of the impossible for generations. The dark, peat-stained waters of Loch Ness, Scotland. 1. The Loch Ness Monster, the 2025 breakthrough. While the world had long dismissed Nessie as a relic of 20th century folklore, this brand new photograph proves that a massive biological entity lurks in the pitch-black depths. A mass that physically shouldn't be there. This isn't a trick of the light or a floating log. The way the water is displaced shows a creature of such colossal proportions that it defies every known law of freshwater biology. On the morning of January 29, 2025, Doris Beach was uncharacteristically quiet. The mist hung heavy over the surface of Loch Ness, a body of water so deep it contains more fresh water than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. A visitor, simply looking for a quiet walk, noticed a sudden, violent ripple a few hundred yards out. His first thought was a boat wake, but there were no boats. As he watched, a massive, dark object broke the surface. A long, muscular neck attached to a humped back. The monster was unusually still, as if it were observing the shoreline. It sat like a dark, living island beneath a uniquely raised wave. For what feels like the first time in modern history, the visitor didn't panic. He raised his camera and captured a frame so clear, it has left skeptics speechless. This photo wasn't just posted to social media. It was officially submitted to the Loch Ness Center and logged as the most significant sighting of the decade. And for nearly 100 years, the debate has raged. Is it a plesiosaur, a giant eel, or just a collective hallucination? Skeptics often point to floating logs or optically distorted seals, but this 2025 image reveals a detail that changes everything. The wake isn't just a surface ripple, it's a bow wave formed by a massive submerged volume pushing through the water. This indicates a creature with enough mass to displace hundreds of gallons of water in a single movement. If a leviathan of this scale can hide in a Scottish lake for centuries, we have to ask, what else is lurking in the unexplored corners of our planet? 2. The coelacanth, the ghost of the abyss. It survived the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. It endured the shifting of continents and the rising of oceans, hiding for 66 million years in the lightless caves of the deep sea. The discovery of this living fossil doesn't just rewrite history, it shatters our confidence in what we think is extinct. In 1938, a local fishing trawler off the coast of South Africa hauled in a net that would change biology forever. Among the common edible fish was a creature that looked like it was made of stone and armor. It had thick, iridescent blue scales and bizarre, fleshy fins that looked more like stumpy legs than anything intended for swimming. Marjorie Courtney Latimer, a museum curator, recognized the impossibility of the creature and contacted the legendary ichthyologist J.L.B. Smith. When Smith finally saw the specimen, he famously said he wouldn't have been more surprised if he'd seen a dinosaur walking down the street. It was a coelacanth, making a species that had been missing from the fossil record for 66 million years. It was supposed to be a ghost, a memory turned to stone. But here it was, bleeding and real. The coelacanth lives in the twilight zone of the ocean, depths between 150 and 700 meters, where the pressure is immense and the light is non-existent. They inhabit volcanic caves, drifting like slow-moving shadows. In early 2025, a rare underwater drone photograph from North Maluku, Indonesia, captured what is believed to be one of the last living individuals of a specific subcolony. The image shows its lobed fins in motion, a haunting reminder that while we look to the stars for alien life, prehistoric monsters are still breathing right beneath our ships. It forces us to wonder, if a 5-foot fish can vanish for 60 million years, how many other extinct monsters are just waiting for us to stop looking? 3. Chupacabra, the Texas backyard terror. It is not merely a sick coyote when seasoned ranchers, men who have spent their lives defending livestock, report finding their animals surgically opened and drained of every drop of blood. These latest photographs capture a creature whose skeletal frame and predatory gait belong in a fever dream, not the suburbs of the American South. In August 2023, the quiet community of Hill Country Village, Texas, was jolted awake by a series of disturbing sightings. A resident captured a series of photos of a creature prowling her backyard under the cover of a humid night. The animal was 4-legged, but its proportions were nightmarish. It possessed long, spindly limbs, a tail that resembled a whip, and in skin so pale and hairless it looked like wet parchment. Most chilling were its ears, large, pointed, and constantly twitching, as if listening to the heartbeats of prey inside the house. Local authorities and biologists were quick to issue a standard press release. It's just a canine with severe sarcoptic mange. They claimed the mites burrowing under the skin caused the hair loss and the alien appearance. But the residents weren't buying it. A mangy dog is sluggish and weak. This creature was fast, calculated, and possessed a terrifying agility. Furthermore, the mange theory failed to explain the precision of the kills reported in the area. The term chupacabra translates to goat sucker, a name earned from the legendary reports in Puerto Rico where livestock were found with puncture wounds in their necks and their circulatory systems emptied. Even when scientists labeled it a coy dog, a hybrid of a coyote and a domestic dog, they couldn't explain why it lacked the vocalizations of either species. It was a silent hunter. As these creatures move closer to human settlements, the question is no longer what they are, but how they learn to live so close to us without being caught. 4. Ogopogo, the serpent of Okanagan. In the crystal clear but bottomless depths of Lake Okanagan, a silhouette glides so immense that modern sonar arrays often fail to register its beginning and end. While tourists search for a myth, the indigenous Syilx people have always known the truth about Mythical, a physical, horned presence that mocks every attempt at a scientific explanation. Lake Okanagan in British Columbia is a geological anomaly, deep, cold, and riddled with underwater caverns. For over a century, thousands of witnesses have described a creature that looks like a cross between a serpent and a whale, often cited as being over 40 feet long with a ridged dark back. But unlike the grainy photos of the 1970s, a 2025 daylight video has surfaced that provides a level of detail never seen before. The footage shows an object breaking the surface with a distinct multi-hump motion. Skeptics tried to claim it was a standing wave or a boat wake, but the video clearly shows the object turning against the current. It possesses horn-like protrusions on its head, a detail that matches the ancient rock carvings of the First Nations people from centuries ago. Marine biologists who analyzed the footage noted that the spacing of the humps suggests a single, continuous skeletal structure beneath the water. This isn't a row of ducks or a floating log, it's a vertebrate. A creature this size would require a massive amount of food, leading to theories about a hidden ecosystem deep within the lake's trenches. The man who took the photo, Stewart, described a feeling of ancient dread as the creature looked toward his boat before submerging without a splash. Is it possible that the Ogopogo is a relict population of Basilosaurus, a primitive whale that researchers thought died out eons ago? 5. Horned rabbits. Nature's gruesome defense. What appears to be a harmless genetic mutation is actually a transformation that turns gentle prey into a weaponized anomaly, sporting black, keratinous daggers that erupt from their skulls. This is a bizarre glitch in biology that proves nature can turn any creature into a monster if the conditions are right. In the American West, specifically across the plains of Colorado and Wyoming, ranchers began sharing photographs that looked like props from a horror movie. They were rabbits, but their heads were encrusted with jagged black horns. The internet immediately resurrected the legend of the jackalope, a mythical cross between an antelope and a rabbit. But these weren't taxidermy pranks. They were alive and they were aggressive. The scientific reality is perhaps even more disturbing than the myth. These horns are the result of the shop papillomavirus. The virus hijacks the rabbit's DNA, forcing its skin cells to overproduce keratin, the same material in your fingernails, until it erupts into hard, horn-like tumors. These growths can become so large they interfere with the animal's ability to eat, eventually leading to a slow death. However, there is a dark payoff to this affliction. Predators like hawks and coyotes, who usually find rabbits to be an easy meal, have been seen avoiding these horned specimens entirely. The jagged growths act as a natural armor and a terrifying visual deterrent. It's a biological, accidental defense system. This raises a chilling philosophical question. How many other cryptids throughout history were simply ordinary animals transformed into monsters by a viral mutation we didn't understand yet? 6. The winged and horned deer. The Bristol Zoo anomaly. A trail camera designed to monitor the predictable movements of bears captured a silhouette that seems to have stepped out of an ancient Greek myth. An impossible hybrid of a deer and a bat. Even the world's leading image analysts are struggling to explain how a simple infrared exposure could create a creature so biologically coherent and yet so terrifying. The Bristol Zoo project used high-end, motion-activated trail cameras to study wildlife in secluded forest corridors. In a series of frames captured late at night, a creature stepped into the clearing that defied classification. It had the body and legs of a small deer, likely a muntjac, and clearly visible horns. But erupting from its shoulders were massive, tattered wings, resembling the leathery membranes of a giant fruit bat. When the photo hit the internal servers, the staff thought it was a prank. But then they checked the other cameras. The creature appeared 3 more times over the course of a week, always between 3 and 4 a.m. It wasn't a digital artifact. The creature cast a shadow on the forest floor, and its wings brushed against the surrounding foliage, causing visible movement in the plants. The skeptical explanation provided by imaging experts was that the deer was shaking its head or scratching its ear during a long-exposure infrared flash, creating a motion blur that looked like wings. But as analysts reconstructed the 3D space of the photo, the wings appeared to have a skeletal structure of their own. If this was just a camera glitch, it was the most perfect, anatomically correct glitch in the history of photography. The Bristol-winged deer remains one of the most debated images in modern cryptozoology, a reminder that the woods we think we know are still full of things that haven't been named. 7. The walking fish, evolution's new frontier. Deep within the Amazon basin, a video has surfaced that captures the exact moment the boundary between water and land is erased. This creature isn't swimming. It is marching across the mud with the calculated intent of a predator, proving that the ancient process of evolution hasn't stopped. It's just getting started. In late 2024, a group of researchers in the Brazilian Amazon captured footage that has since been dubbed the walking fish. While we are all familiar with mudskippers that waddle and flop, this creature was different. It possessed a primitive but sturdy limb structure that allowed it to lift its belly entirely off the ground. It walked with a staggered, rhythmic gait, moving from a shrinking tidal pool toward the dense jungle undergrowth. The Amazon is a place of extremes where the line between the river and the forest disappears during the flood season. This walking fish appears to be the ultimate adaptation to this environment. Its gills are modified to pull oxygen from the air for hours at a time, and its fins have developed bone density similar to that of early amphibians. Is this a new species, or a mutation triggered by the changing climate and receding waters? Some researchers argue that we are witnessing a re-evolution event, where species are forced to adapt to land much faster than previously thought. The footage is haunting, seeing a cold, fish-like eye staring back at the camera from the forest floor, a place it shouldn't be. And it's a chilling reminder that life will always find a way to cross the borders we set for it. These 6 photographs are more than just digital files or ink on paper. They are cracks in the wall of our comfortable, explained world. They represent the moments when the veil drops and we see the planet as it truly is. Vast, ancient, and still very much a mystery. Every time we think we've mapped every inch of the globe, a new shadow emerges from a lake, a forest, or a backyard to remind us of our own insignificance. Maybe the world isn't getting stranger. Maybe we just finally have the tools to see how strange it has always been. The question is, are you brave enough to keep looking, or would you rather stay in the dark? What do you think is the most terrifying sighting on this list? Do you believe these are biological anomalies? Or something truly supernatural? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you have your own unexplained photo, don't keep it to yourself. The world needs to know.